Hey all, welcome back to Neon's Movie Reviews. I'm Neon, this is my review channel, and today we're going to be talking about Friday the 13th Part 2. God, that intro's fucking excessive. But before I dive into this movie, I just want to say, if you enjoyed my content, please give this video a like. Really helps out the channel. And we are kicking off into the Friday the 13th series. We're going to be covering the entire franchise here and going to be diving into some of the fan films as well. So make sure you're subscribed to get notified of those. But diving right into this film is... This film's a really, really fucking mixed bag. It, as I had said in the previous review, this one is entirely based around the paradox that Pamela Voorhees went on the killing spree because Jason drowned and the camp counselors weren't paying attention. Now, Jason, who witnessed seeing his mother get decapitated, is continuing on the killing sprees, getting vengeance for his mother dying.
He must have seen his mother get killed, and all just because she loved him. I mean, isn't that what her revenge was all about? Her sense of loss?
Jason's a legend, Jimmy.
And you just have this fucked up paradox, but ignoring all that, I already spent enough time talking about that in the first video, but ignoring all that, this film's a lot of fun, but this movie is not good. There are scenes in this that are very well done. They do a lot of things that are very interesting in this film, but as a whole, it's just very, very mixed. It's still one of the better ones in the franchise, which is kind of sad for the rest of the franchise. But my biggest issue with this one is, and I think a lot of this is to do with the MPAA, but the kills have no real weight. Like, the first one, you saw great practical effects on display, really gruesome shit, and they hung on it. They showed you what they did. In this one, you get a quick glimpse of some blood spraying or the attack, and then new location. We're cutting away. And it's so fucking annoying. They do it in almost every single scene, except for one. That's fucking amazing. I'll get to that later on. But all in all, for those of you that have not seen this, this is the non-spoilery section. Highly recommend watching these movies. They're all fun, even the awful ones. I personally kind of like the awful ones even more than the good ones, but this whole franchise is not good, but they're very entertaining, and I'd highly recommend them. This one I would give 6 out of 10. It's pretty solid. There's some really well done scenes. There's some shit in here though that is not very good. A lot of the side characters, the nerdy characters, they really get annoying, and it's weird that you really feel it as the series goes on, but even in the second film, it felt like formula. It felt like, oh, we're doing this again. 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 And, but that's my biggest complaint. But moving on, diving full into this film, those of you that have not seen this, get off, go watch that fucking movie, and come back. But for everyone else, this film kicks off. You have probably the best and the worst scene there, because the movie starts off and you're watching the ending of the first movie again. It's really annoying, because especially if you're binging this franchise, you literally just watch that. See, and it's not like some highlights of the ending. You're watching basically from Mrs. Voorhees' introduction to her getting her head chopped off, even the nightmare scene on the water. You get all of that again, and it's like just a solid 5 fucking minutes of just shit we just saw. And it's so annoying. After that, you get what is one of the most disturbing deaths in the whole franchise. It's the ice pick death. And the theatrical cut is very different. I mean, it's the exact same scene, but I found the uncut versions of a lot of these kills, and they were really, really extended originally. So I understand why they cut them down, because honestly, it's not gore or stuff like that. That was why some of them, yes, but most of them, they just went on too fucking long. Like this one, they do her fucking screaming at the severed head like several times back to back, and it's the same. They're just looping it, and it's kind of bad. But then you get some fucking brutal shit. Like the fucking Jason. So in the original cut, it goes in through the side. In this one, you see her head turn, and you see it's gone through her face, and it's poking out of her nose, this ice pick. And it's just a couple extra seconds, and oh man, it's fucking great. Fucking great. But moving on, you get introduced to your characters. None of them are particularly interesting. The main group of kids that you're following are just basic by-the-numbers slasher teens. There is one guy who is kind of interesting. He's in a wheelchair. His character is probably the most unique in this film, and by far he's got the funniest death, I'll put it that way. I don't think it's the best death. I still think the ice pick death is the best, but this is definitely pick number 2. And you just get this really long extended scene with him sitting in his wheelchair, like looking around for somebody. He's not going anywhere. He's just sitting on the porch, basically, just looking around. Vicky? And Jason comes out of fucking nowhere, because you see shots from like him face on, like you're looking at me, and then from behind, like looking forward. Jason's nowhere in any of these shots. There's no one around, and then out of nowhere, machete right into the face. And then he starts backing up, and these stairs appear out of nowhere, and he just continues going down, and it's fucking hilarious. And fucking hilarious. Then there's one kill that a lot of people cite as probably one of the best kills of the franchise, and that's the double impalement. Especially not the theatrical cut. The theatrical cut, pretty basic. I mean, in concept, it's really cool, but it's over before you see anything, and you don't see anything. Like, it's all a concept. Again, found the uncut version. It's a lot better. It's a hell of a lot better. It's much more gruesome, much more disturbing. But again, it doesn't really work for me. This one just, the concept is great. Practical effects look great, but the way they shot it, I don't know if it was the best way to do it. Just something about this looks off to me. And I'll put a link to the guy's video, but there's a guy I found who basically spliced the uncut, unfinished scenes in with the actual finished film, so which is why you're seeing the varying degrees in quality when I'm showing you these uncut scenes. But that's what's going on there. And that leads to probably the most frustrating death scene in the entire movie for me. There's always one. You always get one in these movies. First one didn't really have one, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But from here on out, expect them. You're going to get one really annoying character, badly acted, doing some stupid shit for their death scene. And this one, this girl, she comes up there. Well, first of all, you get a hint that she's not the smartest. And then she goes looking for the guy in the wheelchair, trying to find him. He's nowhere to be found. He's dead. She goes looking for the two that were upstairs. They've been impaled. Nowhere to be found. Looks like somebody's in the bed, though, so she goes in to investigate. It's Jason.
Sandra.
He's just waiting there for some fucking reason, hoping that somebody will come up. Slices her in the leg. Jason just waiting in the bed is the stupidest shit ever, too. Like, what? There's no reason for him to be waiting there. There's no reason to think that anybody would come in there. Like, this girl does, but that no normal person would do that, knowing that your friends are having sex in this room. You're not going to just pop your head in and be like, hey, is so-and-so in here too? Like, no. So he gets up, and her lovely technique is to just cower in the corner and wait for him to approach ever so slowly with this fucking knife in first person. And it's this really long, extended scene of just him walking in first person with this knife and her just cowering and not doing anything. And it's fucking annoying.
Just do it! No! What are you waiting for? Do it! Just do it! Yes, you can! Just do it!
And then you get the out of camera gut stab, and all you see is some blood come up on her lips. That's it. That's her big death scene, and it's probably the longest scene in the whole fucking movie. I fucking hate it. But my biggest issue with all of these kills, though, especially in the theatrical cut, is you get brief violence, really quick cut, and then it cuts to a new location, and really takes you out of each moment, really destroys any of the intensity going on. And Jason brutally kills a dog in this movie too, but then he doesn't. It's kind of weird. There's this little dog, I think it's a Shih Tzu. He's got a little ribbon in his head and really cute little dog. You see it run up to Jason in this first person scene, and then you don't see it for a while. Two of the teens, they go and they're out looking, and they stumble upon this dog, and it's all crushed up. It's fucking gruesome. And then nothing is ever mentioned. One of the characters who owns the dog is constantly looking for her dog. She's got another pretty bad death too. She looks at the camera and screams bloody murder. And then you don't see her again until the fucking end of the movie, and she's just laying in the final, in his trophy room. No marks, no blood, nothing on her. She might just be asleep, but apparently she got scared to death of the cameraman. Her boyfriend, though, had a pretty cool death in both cuts. The both cuts, he gets pulled into a trap. He's hanging upside down. She goes to cut him down, or she goes to find a knife to cut him down. Jason comes in the meantime, slits his throat. And theatrical cut, you get a really quick, and then it cuts away. Extended cut, it hangs on that blood just shooting out of his neck, running down his face. It's a pretty gruesome kill either way. Uncut version, definitely a lot more. But again, it just goes on way, way too long. And then there's one kill that I really liked in the theatrical cut. It's the cop who gets the hammer to the back of the head. But in the extended cut, it's the stupidest fucking thing. They just hang on his like death scene for so goddamn long. And he's not a good actor. He's just not a good actor by any means. And I feel like this was his first and only death scene that he's ever filmed, and he was really excited to do it. And probably lost any opportunity to do another one again. But this film, it's a fucking mixed bag. The end chase, though, the end final chase is pretty good. It's pretty solid. You get a lot of good scenes with Jason and the girl. Jason doesn't seem competent. He seems to stab and slash where there is nobody, where he knows that there isn't a person. And Paul, her boyfriend, he gets into a fight with twice, knocks him out both times, or at least gets the upper hand both times, and Paul lives. But then Paul gets killed off screen in one of the shittiest endings of this franchise ever. Or in this franchise ever. Like, first of all, the dog fucking comes back out of nowhere. Then Jason comes back out of nowhere. He jumps through the window, grabs her, and it's that big jump scare moment again from the first. You get that jump scare ending. And then cut to morning. She's being wheeled away on a stretcher by the ambulance. No mention of Paul. She's asking what happened to Paul. No mention of Jason. Nothing. It's over. And movie's end. It's a fucking horrible way to end a climax. But throughout the actual climax of the film, it's pretty solid. There's a really stupid scene where she pisses herself, and that's fucking annoying. But ignoring a lot of the stupid shit that happens, there's this fucking forced line when she's like right in her introduction scene, where her boyfriend Paul, he basically says, "Why don't you use some of that child psychology you're learning?" And it's so on the nose, and it's so just like, oh, well, that has no context to anything going on in the film. It's got to be used against Jason in the third act. Okay. And so she finds Jason's mother's remains and all that kind of stuff. She puts the sweater on, pretends to be Pamela, and at least provides enough of a distraction for Paul to kind of help her out. Oh. There's this fucking guy in this movie named Ted. He's so fucking annoying. He's the nerdy guy. You see him throughout the film. And miraculously, he does not get killed. He's nowhere to be found during any of the killing scenes. He's off safe at a bar, drinking, getting drunk, having a good time, doing all the things that you should get killed for doing in a horror movie. As well as, while he was at camp, he was doing all the things you should do to get killed in a horror movie. And somehow he fucking lived. And it's very upsetting because he's one of the most annoying characters in the movie, and you really want to see him die. Out of everybody in the movie, you want to see him die. Like, take a look at this shit.
When I was born, my mama loved me. 16 years old, gave birth to a G. Though back at the time, whenever they would see my face, shame I had to hide, cause all the kids would do was hate. I missed out on school. I stayed in my home, I wasn't cool to the big boys saying I'm a fool.
That was the wrong clip. I'm not sure what that was. That was not Ted, though. This is Ted.
Thirsty for young blood.
Like, look at that shit. Fucking annoying. And what nerd is that ripped? Like, come on. But, anyway. Film's a mixed bag, but it's a good time. And I would not recommend seeking out the extended cuts or anything like that. Just watch the theatrical cut. It's easier to find. You're not going to waste your money on stuff, and the scenes aren't that much better anyway. But there's a fucking subplot in this movie with the main two characters, with Paul and the main girl. I'm totally blanking on her name. But there's this subplot that had to have been in the movie, but they just removed it because they keep bringing up that, like, she constantly keeps seeing Jason's side of the story and feeling sympathy for Jason and all of that while they're discussing Pamela and Jason and all the horrors that have happened in the past. She's very sympathetic. Paul is not. She does the child psychology. Paul is very unaware of those things. He almost kind of makes fun of that kind of stuff. And they're kind of a will they won't they relationship. They are together, but there's something going on between them. She wants to have a talk with him, all this stuff, and it's just like, she's fucking pregnant. She's got to be pregnant. And she's like, it's clear as day that it's there. It's just never dealt with because they tried to cut the subplot out. But that subplot would have made the rest of the film work so much better, and her, like, yeah, I don't know. The fact that Paul is pretty much cut out of the movie at the end there too, so I don't know. Mixed bag. But again, 6 out of 10. Highly recommend this movie. I really enjoy this. It's a lot of fun, but just know what you're getting into. It's a by the numbers slasher movie. The series takes a while before it gets good, but when it gets good, it gets fucking good. But that's gonna wrap this up. Really appreciate you guys sticking through this. Let me know what your favorite moment in this film was. Like, what's your favorite kill? Who's your favorite character? What's your favorite joke? What's your favorite moment in this film? For me, it's in the theatrical cut. For me, the best scene is fucking that ice pick through the face or through the temple. It's just fucking, it gets you. You can see the ice pick sliding down because it's obviously one of those just retractable tips, but it's still very effective, and it's one of the few kills in the movie where you're just like, but review for Friday the 13th Part 3 or Friday the 13th Part 3 3D coming out later on this week. Should be out Friday, and then just gonna be continuing on with the rest of the franchise. But hope you all stay safe, and I'll catch you next time. Bye, y'all.